Welcome back. Welcome to another edition of Nain Shorts with my co-host today, Tommy. Tommy, how you doing? Good? Say hi to people. No? All right. Well, Tommy's enjoying the sun out here in the garden of the Wandering Ronin. So we're just, yeah, he's just gonna be a fixture for today, folks. He's a little out of a dog that was raised by cats, so he thinks he's a cat. So it's a fun little thing to figure out. Anywho, before we start, I just wanted to remind everybody April 12th, I believe, is coming up. The VEA Collaborative in Manteca. Keep an eye out for that. That's Mike Cardenas putting together 8 instructors. It's the big one. He has 2 every year in spring and then in the fall. So keep an eye out for that. Keep the date. Look online, Facebook, Mike Cardenas or VEA Collaborative, VEA Martial Arts. That information is out there. All the instructors that are going to be there will be listed, as well as the vendors that are showing up. So definitely, if you haven't made plans to go, please do so. This is definitely the year to get out there and cross-share. Because ultimately, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get our information out there and give it to as many people as we possibly can, or at least this particular group, this tribe, is doing so, along with people like Dennis Duarte, who are putting together things, along with Kakua in Pleasanton. So more to come, folks, and a lot to share. And ultimately, that's what we want to do, right? We want this to continue. We want it to keep growing. We want generations after us to still practice the art that we train and advocate. And that question was recently posted as well. It's like 50 years from now, will your art still be around? The thing that you train, the thing that you teach, will it still be around? Will people still be practicing? Will your name still be out there? Maybe not your name. I think that's more of an ego concept, where you start thinking that your name is going to be associated with your art for however long it goes. I mean, the names that we remember today, the big names that we think of now when we think of FMA, Kaiju Kempo, Karate, Shorin-ryu, all these other names of the practitioners and those that pioneered the art. Did they consider that when they were practicing? Did they think, okay, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, after I'm gone, people are still going to be using my name, are still going to be associating me with this art? And I wonder what they would think of where their art is now and how it's being propagated. How is it being put out there? Now, I've heard stories of practitioners, even while their instructors were still alive, that have branched out, started doing their own thing, of course with the permission, but also the respect from their instructors to be able to then start their own school, their own classes. And when they join again, when the instructor, the master, the teacher comes back and looks at their curriculum, they automatically start saying, okay, well, this needs to be this needs to be that, oh, you should change this to this. And it's like, whoa, hold on. You gave me permission to run my own school. This is how I'm going to run my own school. How are you trying to dictate where that goes? And how much of that is the ego of the instructor saying, okay, I want it to be this way because this is the way that I designed it? Not necessarily questioning whether it's good or bad, just it's not what he would do, it's not what they would teach, so they want to change it. And do you think any of the instructors that are now gone, that have been relegated to legends, if alive today, would look at their work and say, okay, that went in the direction it should have, you grew into the person I thought you would grow into? Or would they start criticizing, you should change this, you should change that, no, this was never intended to be this way? And a lot of that comes from the way that we portray ourselves. Like right now on camera, like, am I portraying the art that I'm practicing, or am I just talking nonsense? Am I going to be remembered as someone insightful, or as just a somewhat funny joke? I don't know. And a lot of it has to do with the way then I put myself on camera. Now, most of these are just little conversations, concepts, ideas, and that's it. And if they resonate with you, great. We have a niche group of people that actually listen to the stuff that we talk about, and more importantly, understand the stuff that we talk about here on this show. But then you have other instructors that show the physical stuff, that show the movements, and that's all they really show. No real concepts, just the nitty gritty, the flashy things. Sometimes you have these guys that are, very well athletically built. They have all these little shirts, big muscles, and they're showing all these destruction of limbs and all these movements and all these cutaway scenes of them throwing people and tossing people and holding them and awesome stuff. Don't get me wrong, great stuff. And some of them, they even go as far as showing you instructions on how to do those things. Quick little videos on how to destroy a limb, how to parry something properly, how to go into hooks and that sort of thing, and the way that they go about practicing those. Now, is that truly representative of the art itself? Is that enough for them to be remembered in association with that art? Or is it just one of those moments where, hey, that was a cool video, and then their names are forgotten just as quickly? And how important was that to that person to be remembered beyond that? I don't know. I've met some of these people. Some of them talk about it's not their name that they wish to be remembered, but the art itself. The art that maybe their father created, or their father practiced, or somebody that they really held in high esteem. There's so many stories behind it and so many reasons, but is that person doing enough to be remembered? Is that person doing significant impact in the martial arts world to do so? Is it that much more difficult to do something impactful in the martial arts nowadays to be remembered? Because folks, there are so many choices out there and so many things, and with connectivity you can come across stuff that is amazing, but also some stuff that it's not that great. You see it all the time. You see these videos on Bushido, and oftentimes the names associated with them, say the art itself, is also associated with real practitioners, real good practitioners. So not only is it what we're putting out there that matters, but also what other people are putting out there that's going to affect the way people see the art, because they're just going to associate things. That's what we do as humans. We associate a group of people, and if this person is part of that group and they're doing something stupid, well, guess what? That's what they're going to associate the group to, if that's what people see. And the funny, the dumb, that seems to be more viral than anything else. You see these practitioners, and they could be the great practitioners in person, and when you see them teach, it's a whole different story. But then the little bits that are shown, that are shared with the internet, become subjects of ridicule, subjects of just jokes, because what they show, while in their minds might be very, unimportant, or just dumb or funny, or whatever the reason that they put it out there, it becomes associated with the name. It becomes associated with everyone else that does that art. So you have these really serious guys that look almost militant, that are showing really cool techniques and practice ideas, and then you see these fuddy-duddy guys that are just, kind of just messing around on camera, just doing whatever movements they are, which are legitimate stuff, which is things that people do in practice, but the way that they go about it is that they almost turn it into a joke, whether they do it on purpose or not. That's how then it gets perceived. So you have this on two sides. You have those that show something very concrete, very applicable, whether it's training or even a technique, and then you have those who show, well, pretty much the same thing, but in a joking way, in a very lazy, not taking it too serious kind of situation. And that's the stuff that people see. That's the stuff that people are going to associate with the rest of it. So really, can it be the efforts of one individual? Can we say that just this one person is going to put out good content, good ideas, so much so that what we remember later on when they're gone, when they're older, when the internet has died, if it ever does, that we're going to remember them fondly, that we're going to remember the art that they practice, we're going to remember the lineage? Or are we just going to say, hey, wasn't that one funny guy associated with that school, and do you remember how stupid he looked on camera? Like, is that going to be what we remembered? And again, can that one person really make that huge of an impact into the art to be remembered one way or the other? I honestly don't know, but I think it's something we definitely need to consider, because if we are to create a tribe where we promote and advance the martial arts, something that I believe we could all agree we hope continues long after we're gone, whether our name is associated to it or not. But the sheer fact that martial arts is still practiced decades from now, I think that is far more important. And if that is what we want, if we can collectively come together and say that is something we look forward to, should we talk more about this? How are we presenting ourselves? How are we presenting the martial arts? How are we spreading the word, and what image do we really create whenever we do these things? Should we be more aware of how we're presenting ourselves and how people are going to see us? And if so, how can we come together and create some sort of guideline maybe on how to go about doing so we can all say, okay, that can't be taken too negatively, or that's not going to be taken as a joke, and we can now spread it around and build some sort of momentum in the martial arts world, or even beyond it. Because we do need new people to join. We do need the younger generations to be a part of it, and they are the ones that are going to carry it into the future. We're eventually going to grow old, and we're eventually going to pass away. What are we leaving behind? Our students may be able to remember us for a while, but then after that, what's next? Will the art still continue? If we're gone, will it go away? Will that name die off? For some people, it is. I've had the pleasure of meeting some older practitioners that created their own art. The name of that art, you don't really hear anymore unless you talk about that individual, because once that individual passed, it seems like the art went with it. Great stuff, but it wasn't carried forward. So, is it something we should have thought about more? Is it something we should think about more? Do we want the name of our art to continue? Do we want our name to be remembered? Or do we just want people to still train and practice? Regardless of what art it is, regardless of what names are remembered, but as long as people continue training, continue advancing, is that our goal, or is being remembered our goal? No, something to consider, something to definitely think about next time we put out a video or some sort of content out there. How do we wish to be remembered? What do we want people to remember? And can we in fact do something more to make sure that whichever choice we have, whichever choice we make, is actually remembered at the end? Alright, so thank you very much for joining me on another one of Nain's Shorts, something to consider. Thank you again, and as usual, I'll see you on the next one. 3, 2, 1, cut!